aligned action or assigning meaning to action, it better can be said as taking aligned action. And I just want to give some pointers today on how to um, take aligned action and how to keep hold of and maintain things like inspiration, motivation, ambition, and letting all of those things flow better. So, if you're anything like me, you might find that you really grip tightly to things like meaning and inspiration. And if you have a hard time maintaining those things, it's okay. I just want you to set them aside for now. Okay. And I want to talk first about appreciating the mundane and accepting what is. So, just appreciating those everyday moments in life, like when we're in the grocery store, when we come home from work for the day, getting ready for work for the day, and when we bring acceptance and appreciation into those everyday moments, things just flow better. So we can let go for now of really gripping tightly to anything like needing things to mean so much, those really big moments. I know for me, I really love the big moments in life. I really love like the meaning and the inspiration. And I really do find that when I am so attached to those things that they miss me and I grip so tightly on them that they don't really flow so well. So once we can begin to appreciate and accept our everyday life, we can begin to find love for our everyday life. Things just flow better and the inspiration and the meaning kind of just come. They just pop and they stick better. So I would love for you guys to just find some time throughout every day to really step into appreciation of something regular, really step into acceptance of just what is here, coming into the present moment, because in the present moment is where everything happens. It's where all the magic is. So once we can lead with open hands and open hearts and find ourselves in that space of freedom and letting things be free and just allowing, then we can begin to look at any resistance. So I don't know if you guys can see this. I feel like, can you see this? Oops. Okay. So this just says facing any resistance directly and head on. So resistance can be in the form of thoughts. You might hear resistance talked about a lot. And for me, for a long time, I was like, what is that? Like, I don't get it. Resistance can come up in the form of thoughts, beliefs, and it's really in a contradiction. It's really an opposition to the things that we actually want. So let's say, for instance, I'm somebody who really wants to create a conscious relationship. And that's what my desire is. That's what I want to create for myself. But inside, I have thoughts and feelings of relationships not being safe or relationships being really challenging. So there's a part of me that is in resistance. And a lot of times we will just avoid, ignore, and withdraw from that resistance. And I want to encourage you to really just take a look, an open and honest look at your resistance. Let's say Um, Madhurima, can you think of any examples of resistance? Have you
Yeah,
experienced resistance?
a lot. I experience resistance on daily basis, I feel. Um, in specific to making change, let's say, I feel like every time I step out of my comfort zone. So for example, this is something that happened quite recently is I was supposed to go to my friend's engagement that's happening soon, and I just had a lot of resistance show up for myself internally, solely because I have separation anxiety, because I have all of these feelings of uh, the last time I traveled to and fro, not the last time, but the most impactful time. I had to travel back home in an emergency situation where my dad was in the hospital, and for me that created a lot of fear, right? And a lot of times, like even this time, I was like, oh yeah, I don't face any fear. Like I thought I was over it. I thought I dealt with the trauma that comes from being away from your family. And then I realized that, you know what, I don't think I have. And I can't simply ignore this for what it is. I have to dive deep and actually look into what I am experiencing and be open with that experience, be open with that fear, be open with the emotions that show up when it comes to having to travel and navigating all those emotions. So, yeah, I definitely think I have faced a lot of resistance. Specifically, this showed up quite recently. And so I was just like, I don't know. It was quite present and took me back to a lot of things that I thought I was well over. I don't know if that helps, if that is
Yes,
a good enough example for the thing that we're speaking about right now, but that was the thing that popped up for me.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that definitely does. That definitely does. So, yeah, exactly. So, resistance can come up in the forms of feelings, of thoughts, of beliefs, anything that is in opposition, and it's an energy, right? So, if everything is in energy and all of us is on board to, let's say I want to be a singer or an actress, but there's a part of me that is really scared to be on camera, and there's a lot of fear there. If I don't deal with that fear directly and really get curious with it, it's going to hold me back. It's like swimming upstream. It's like going against the current of what you truly want. So until all parts of us, all of us is on board to go in the direction that we want to move in to create the things that we want for ourselves, we should not be taking any action. So for me, dealing with resistance is just so important because you're going if we don't, we are going to be working 10 times as hard and we're going to run into a lot of blocks and we might run into some sabotaging behaviors and it might just feel very confusing and things cannot flow. So deal with your resistance in any form. When we do things consciously, we can do them constructively and in a way that is conducive to what we want to create rather than in a destructive way or in a way that is actually in opposition to the things that we are trying to create. So, this brings me to looking at our own individuality and our own personal uniqueness. So, once we have began to appreciate and accept what is and really begin to find a love for everything that is without wanting to change it, and then we face our resistance and really get curious with it, then we can begin to look at our own individuality and our own personal uniqueness. So everybody's aligned action is going to be different. It's going to be different for each person because we all have different desires, we all have different goals, we all have different lives. And so until we get really familiar with ourselves from a feeling state, You will hear me talk about feeling state a lot because it's really important to me. I do a lot of work on this, on the level of feelings and emotions. And so that's how, to me, that's how we get to know ourselves. To me, that's how we get to discover what is our own unique individuality. So, for example, let's say I want to have independence and I want to learn how to drive. And let's say Madhurima, driving makes her crazy. She's scared to drive. It gives her anxiety. She goes into a panic when she gets in behind the wheel. Okay. For me, it makes me panic when I don't have my own independence, my own form of transportation. So our aligned action is going to be very different. My aligned action would be to learn how to drive, get my driver's license, maybe look into purchasing a vehicle. Madhurima may be needing to look into other forms of transportation and other ways that she can get from where she is to where she wants to go that doesn't involve her being behind the wheel. So individuality is just super important, and to get into our own unique individuality, we can ask ourselves, who do I want to be in the world? Who do I want to be? How do I want to be in the world? What does my ideal life look like? I'm going to be like, Jesus, take the wheel. Yes. What does my ideal life look like? What are my thoughts and behaviors in that life? And are my current thoughts and behaviors and choices and actions in alignment with the life that I say I want to live? So getting really familiar with my desires, my values, getting really clear on what those things are uniquely for me from a feeling state. So what things make you happy? What things bring you joy? What things bring you excitement and that spark? What is sparking you into states of happiness, excitement, joy? Follow those feelings, and those are the feelings that are going to lead you to what is the unique individual aligned action for yourself that is going to lead you to where you want to go. Okay, so this brings me into talking about momentum, and really action is so important. So taking aligned action is sort of like pressing the gas on the car, right? We can't go anywhere without it because faith without works is dead. So we can do all the things. We can magnetize, we can manifest, we can set all the intentions, we can meditate, but without action, we don't get to go anywhere. We won't produce our desired results without action. So this looks like writing down a workout plan and then just looking at it and not doing the workouts. It's not going to produce your desired result. So momentum is super key. Taking aligned action is super key. And you will hear me say alignment like a million times, because really that's what this is all about. If I am not in a state of alignment with myself, with external forces, with the people around me, then I'm just kind of aimlessly not really living the life that I'm called to live. This could come up in feelings of feeling like stuck or stagnant or unmotivated or just not feeling right. Things feel off. So alignment, get into your unique individuality, create the momentum, take the aligned action. So once we do all of these things, and all of these things If you have any questions, please message me, please message Madhurima. But this is like all internal work to align yourself with the life that you want to create in the future. And it's very intentional. It's very much so saying, I'm going to live this life for me rather than live the life that everybody thinks I should live, or society says I should live, or my parents say I should live. Okay. Once I have done this kind of work and I have cleared my resistance and I'm clear on the direction that I want to go, and I'm feeling the momentum and I'm feeling the inspiration and I'm appreciating everything for what it is right here, right now, and I'm in the present moment, then I can really come into focusing on the desired outcome. So again, from the feeling state, that version of me that already has it. This is what I call envisioning. And you might hear many coaches talk about envisioning from a feeling state of completion. Who is the version of me that has already completed what I say I'm here to do, the action that I want to take? How does that version of me feel? What are they thinking? What are their daily thoughts? How do they see my life from that perspective? What's their perspective? What's their view on my life? What is the best part about this future? What's my favorite, most exciting piece of the puzzle that I can now see in completion? Feel that. Feel that now and feel that every day. Don't wait. You can feel that right here, right now. You can begin to envision those things and envision and really get in touch with that version of yourself and bring them present. So yes, feel that now. Envision yourself, envision your accomplished self and that desired outcome. This can be called aligning with the dream. So, and another last bit is we want to have a clear beginning and a starting point. So, and we can declare this to ourselves, and we should declare this to ourselves. So you can say things like, I'm starting now, I begin today, and declare that for yourself and really feel into that moment of beginning, whatever it is. And if we can do all of this, we can really create a flow state. So you hear so many people talk about flow state, and a lot of times it's like, what is that? Flow state is anytime you are just in the zone. You're in the zone, you're in the flow, things are flowing, they feel easy. All of these steps are going to take you into a flow state. If you imagine yourself as an energy, and everything around you is an energy, if you are going with the currents, you're in the flow state. If you are going along with the flow of the energy, then you are in the flow state, you are in alignment. And that is the best place to take action from. That is the only place that we should take action from, because otherwise it's going to just feel like we're going in circles. It's going to feel like we are taking 2 steps forward and 10 steps backward because we haven't faced our resistance and we aren't appreciating what is here, and we're just really turning ourselves around rather than going with the flow. So you can do all these things to create a flow state. This is supposed to be a video of oh, well, let me see. Oh my goodness. So, Madhurima, what do you think? Is there any thoughts that you have while I get back up to my screen?
I think it's just dope, you know. I feel like it's really important. A lot of the things that you mentioned, you basically covered the entirety of the presentation. You covered so many great points, and I'm so excited for that. I especially loved your explanation around the flow state. For me, I definitely feel that it's really important to understand why we are attaching meaning to a particular action. Because if you're just doing an action, it's almost like you're inputting a command into a computer or into a robot and expecting it to do it. We are humans, and attaching that emotion is really crucial in trying to kind of get that energy to go, to feel, to honestly feel in all our entirety the work that we are trying to do. I feel like it's really important. There was this comic that I was reading recently, and they spoke about how oftentimes when you lift weights, you're not simply just lifting weights. For the person who's doing it, and for someone who's really dedicated in doing the work like this, they imagine every single muscle move and contract, and they are in that state of almost flow where they're imagining an action and they're taking that action, and then there is increased satisfaction. And I feel like that is what this work is for me. You know, the work that we are talking about right now. When we take an action with a meaning attached behind it, it just gets extremely satisfying when we get the work done. I feel like that in its entirety is what it means for me. And I love that you mentioned, faith only works when you actually take that action. You can't just have faith exist and be like, yeah, I have the awareness, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and then just leave it at that. I always say this: awareness doesn't matter unless you take action on it. Because
Yeah.
all you're doing is you're bringing attention to the fact that this action has meaning. There is a reason why I should be doing this. And if you don't take the action, no matter how many hours you spend thinking about it, after a point of time, it will all be useless. It's just theories in your mind. You're not actually taking action to see if it is a right theory or if it is a wrong theory. I think
Yeah.
this is where philosophers and psychology kind of comes into the mix, where philosophers think of something, scientists, not just philosophers, but not just psychologists, but scientists in and of, they all come together to kind of see, well, can we actually make this into a reality? Can we have some facts and numbers behind this and see if this actually is what this person is talking to us about? So yeah, I feel like action and meaning go really well together, especially if you want to kind of increase the satisfaction that you want to experience at the end of the day. Yeah. Sorry, I'm
Yes,
still
I
like,
love
my
it.
brain's still foggy.
No,
My
it's all
brain's still
good.
foggy. Yeah, I'm just like,
Love it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So action is just, it's a huge piece. It's a huge piece. And if we can't figure out what is the aligned action, we need to start there. It's like if you want to make this delicious meal and you go and you get all the ingredients, if you don't know what the ingredients are, well, you need to start there. But once you get all the ingredients, you don't just leave them on the counter and expect them to put themselves together. You get your hands and you do the work. And it's just so important. And that is how we create momentum. That is how we get into flow state. That is how we make it happen, accomplish our dreams, and align with the dream. So alignment. Yes. And that is it. That's all I have for you guys today. And I
yay.
am all done. Does anybody have anything? Trinice, do you have anything that you would like to ask or add?
Um, I would say, what are some great ways for someone to like set up a plan? Like, they see the vision, they have this goal, but they don't know where to start creating that action plan for themselves. So what are some tips around that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So figuring out the middle, what's in the middle, and what is the very next step that I need to take to bring me closer to the end. So you can really map your vision from end to beginning and beginning to end, and begin to fill in what's in the middle. What do I need to do next? So if my dream is to create the relationship that I want, I probably need to get out and start dating. But there's going to be a bunch of stuff that has to happen in between, like those beginning steps of like, how am I feeling now? What's here now? Are there blocks in the way? Am I ready for that? And then my next step, once I'm clear, would be like, okay, well, where do I go to meet somebody? You know, like putting myself out there, and what are the next steps, and really breaking those down into micro steps, and then setting your day up each day, structuring it to begin taking those steps one at a time, at least one step every day. If you're not feeling it, what's one small thing that you can do to move the needle?
I
Okay.
just wanted to add that we will be having a few more excuse me. We'll be having a few more workshops along the line. We will be tomorrow is all about actually preparing for the action, something similar to what you asked, Trini's. And we will also have working through fear and obstacles and celebrating our wins. We have 3 more workshops to go this month, so feel free to join us, and we'd love your presence. Whoever's watching this live or replay, sending out a lot of love to you guys, and I will genuinely invite you to join the Stress Busters community. I know a lot of people who are part of these workshops are already in the Stress Busters community, but if you know of anyone who's interested in working on the stress management and making it fun, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll send you a link so that you can share it with all your lovely friends, and we can make this world a tiny bit better as we go.
A lot better.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
And
thank you guys.